Book of Aph, son of Jehovih. Being the heavenly records of Aph, son of Jehovih, and of his companion Ninya, daughter of Jehovih, as pertaineth to the submersion of the continent of Wega, afterward called Pan, signifying earth. And this period was commonly called the deluge, or flood of waters. Chapter 1. In the time of the world, 24,000 years before the Cosman era, the great serpent, solar phalanx, being in the ark of Noah in the Etherian heavens and of the sum of Haut in Jaya 87, the earth and her heavens were in great darkness. But the spirit of Jehovah moved upon his high-raised God, Aph, in the Etheria, to consecrate new dominions on the earth and her heavens. Aph said, 2. I, Aph, son of Jehovah, God in the ark of Noah, in sum of Haut in Etheria, came to Hada, heaven of the red star, in Jehovah's name. In his wisdom, power, and love manifested in mine own resurrection, to become companion to gods and goddesses and Orion chiefs on the thrones of high heaven, proclaim. 3. To the atmospherian spirits of the earth, and to the spirits of the first, second, and third resurrections, abiding on the earth, or near thereto, either with mortals or without, to their God and Lords and their Savior, and to all holy ones by Jehovah raised up for the redemption of men and angels. 4. In the ark of Noah came to me the voice of Jehovah, creator of worlds, saying, 5. I am the all-highest, my service extendeth forever. I go not, but I am afar. I come not, and yet I am near. My voice is in all places. The light of the soul of man heareth me. I speak in the vine that creepeth, and in the strong standing oak. 6. Hear the voice of your Creator, O ye angels of heaven. Carry ye the wisdom of my utterance down to mortals. Call them to the glories of the heavens and the broad earth. Behold, my voice is in the rocks, and in the wind that bloweth, and in all things that have not tongues. 7. Show them my suns and stars in the firmament above, for they are my written words. My voice proceedeth in the space of heaven. The wise angels of my exalted places hear the sound going forth. Hearken to my speech, O ye spirits of the dead. Proclaim me, O ye gods and goddesses. 8. They look for me as they look for things. They hearken for my voice as from a man's voice, and they find me not, nor hear that which I have spoken. Yet none can efface my words. My wisdom endureth forever. Behold, I come not as a sound to the ear. My voice hieth into the soul from all sides. 9. Teach them, O ye angels. They look not in the right way. Their ears are turned after loud claps and noises. They cry out, Alas, I hear not the voice of Jehovah. He hath not spoken. His voice has not no man heard. He is the all-silent, and dumber than all the things he created. 10. They have turned away from my God and my Lord's, and in conceit and darkness have they shut themselves up. They have peopled the air of the earth about with spirits of darkness, the drujas of men of darkness, and cannibals. Their fetals float back upon them, like devouring vermin. They burrow deep in pollution. 11. Remember them, O God, my Son, and ye, my lords of earth. Have no pity, but be as a surgeon's knife upon them. Thou hast told them, O God, Jehovah liveth and reigneth. His voice standeth the all-highest. But they have mocked thee and thy lords, and turned away after iniquity. 12. They are fearful lest they believe in my person and my voice. Of their own gabble they have no fear. They criticize me and my God and my lords, but they own that they know me not. They suppose my exalted heavens are without order and discipline. My captains they ignore, and the teachings of my holy ones are criticized by men of straw. 13. Have they not said, Who is God that I should adore, and the Lord that I should hearken? But I turn their eyes to the armies of earth, to the general and the captain. Then they say, Ah, our affairs on earth are officered and disciplined. We reverence our highest, great captains. 14. Shall they turn God away and the Lord? What shall the Creator do to please them? Is not the name of my general and my captain my own creation? Who found the name of God and the name of thy Lord? Why are they not pleased with my gods and my lords? 15. Hear me, O ye Etherian gods and goddesses. They desire not wisdom and resurrection. Their love lieth in darkness. To eat, to sleep, and to devour are the delights of their souls. The first lesson of life they have not learned. The first heaven of the earth is to them the all of the created worlds. 16. Hear my judgment upon them, O ye, my holy angels and long risen, for I have raised them up again and again. I have founded lower heavens for them that they might learn, but they fall the moment my gods leave them alone. 17. Now will I carry away their heaven and earth, and they shall be seen no more forever. But the Drujas and Phedos shall be carried to Hautuon, and cast into walls of fire, and they shall be divided up into groups. Kin shall be torn away from kin, and friend from friend, and mother from daughter, and father from son, for they are become as absorbents, sucking one another continually. 18. And the walls of the fire shall go up around them without ceasing, and they shall not escape. And they that guard them shall keep them from one another, that they shall do no evil. Neither shall they sleep nor rest, but be stirred up and made to know that they are alive and can exist independent of fetal. 19. Hear my voice, O God, and command thy Lord to proclaim on the earth. Have I not made an example before mortals? Behold the carrion that rotteth in the field. Is it not the feast of the hyena, the wolf, and the buzzard? Do not worms come to life therein and turn and devour the carcass that brought them forth? 20. What more is the earth, Pan, to these spirits of evil and darkness? What more is their first heaven than a place of perpetual devouring? Have they not made it a place of everlasting destruction? They visit their evils upon mortals. The young cannot escape them, nor the middle-aged, nor the old man, nor old woman. 21. The heavenly kingdoms founded by gods and lords have become pest houses for Drujas and Phedos. There is no place left for founding the upright and virtuous in heart. 22. Are my gods and lords servants to an evil world, and shall they find only rottenness to deal with? Now have I answered in the firmament of my holy sons and daughters. I have called them from remote places in heaven to witness the work of my hand. For as I made the earth and its heavens, so rule I over it to the same end for which I created it. 23. When they are short of my measure, I lengthen them out. When they run foul, I prune them to my own liking, for they are mine. Behold, the fool hath said, Jehovah had made failure. Behold, the Creator created a world for a certain purpose, but it run foul of his mark. 24. Hear me, O God, and through thy Lord's answer thou him in this conceit. Did I not quicken man into life in my own way? At zero created I him, and I said, Two roads have I made, O man. One leadeth to everlasting light, and the other to everlasting darkness. 25. Now have I shown him the darkness. It is my witness, whereby man knoweth my word is all truth. Wherefore then should I not create the world and man and angels, that they go down in everlasting darkness? Is it not by darkness and pain I push man forward? Yeah, the conceited man would fail himself, but for the failures I set up before him. Wherefore then have I not created wisely? 26. Have I not a right to do mine own way? Are not all things mine? If a man die in the corporeal part, is he a failure? How else could man rise to my etherian worlds? Open his eyes, O my God and Lords. He was not, and I created him. He presumeth to look into my plans and judgments. By his little learning he exalteth his conceit and pretendeth to know all things. 27. I cause the grain to grow in the field, and the day before it is ripe I send wind and rains and destroy it utterly. I bring forth man with shapely limbs and strong arms, but in the day of his prime I cut him down. I gave the passion of love to the mother, but I take away her firstborn. 28. Know I not that first of all things man shall be taught to know my power, and after that my wisdom? Have they seen the places of the dead, and hell and destruction? Teach them, O God, for their ultimate resurrection is my glory and my delight. 29. Shall a man of earth say, the Creator was angry, and so sent the land beneath the ocean? He hath not wisdom to comprehend that this day I cast out hell and destruction. The drudge is his love, and as vampires, they feed on each other to the ruin of both. 30. But I know what is for their own good, and my decree hath gone forth. Chapter 2. I, Aph, son of Jehovih, high dwelling in the Etherian worlds, and oft trained in the change of tumult and corporeal worlds, answered Jehovih, saying, 2. Father of worlds, Jehovih Almighty, thy son and servant hath heard thy voice. Behold, my head is bowed, my knee bent to rush forth with 1,000,000,000 force to the suffering earth of Heda. 3. Hear me, O angels of the earth's heavens, from Jehovah's everlasting kingdoms I speak, and by his power reveal. Again his voice coursed the high heavens along, where angels dwell, older than the earth. Jehovah said, 4. Hear me, O chieftains of Or and of Ut, in the plains of Gibrathotova. Proclaim my word to thy host of swift messengers of Wakawak, and Beliathon, and Dor, and they shall speed it abroad in the Aegean mounds of Mentabra and Cax of Gal. 5. Hear my voice, O ye goddesses of Hoetaivi and of Vaivi Yoni Rom, in the Etherian arcs of Fast and Leg, and Omaza. Proclaim my degrees of the red star and her heavens in the crash of her rebellious sides, for I will harvest in the forests of Seth and Rime. 6. Hear my voice, O ye homunculosots of millions of years standing, and managers of corporeal worlds. I have proclaimed the ooze and hiss of the red star in her pride and glory. Send word abroad in the highway of Plumfgo to the great high gods, Myantaf in the Etherian vortices of Bane, and to Rome and to Neshatoza and Duji. 7. Hear me, O ye Orion kings and queens of thousands of millions of gods and goddesses. I have spoken in the Savorkim of the great serpent of the sun. A wave of my breath speedeth forth in the broad firmament. The red star flieth toward the point of my whetted sword. 8. Proclaim my voice in the Orion fields of Amal and Wawa. Let the clear-tongued shepherds of Zawias and Burke and Galb and Dumfariana fly with all speed in the road of Axiaya, where the first of the red star's vortex gathered up in nebulae millions of years agone, and on the way say, Jehovah hath decreed a pruning knife to a traveling world. 9. Shouted abroad in the crystal heavens of the summering lords of Wak and Gi and Mago and Utal. Call them to the red star speeding forth. Lo, she skippeth as a lamb to be shorn. Her coming shock lieth slumbering low. Let them carry the sound of my voice to the Jaian swamps of exploded worlds, boiling in the roar of elements, where wise angels and gods explore to find the mystery of my handiwork. 10. Tell them I have spoken, and the earth and her heavens near the troughs of the Etherian seas of my rich yielding worlds. I will scoop her up as a toy, and her vortex shall close about like a serpent hungry for its prey. Proclaim it in Thessa, Cal, and Tinwakwak, and send them to Gitcham Foam of Januk and Dune. 11. Hear me, O ye Chris Helmashodak, who have witnessed the creation of many worlds and their going out. Open your gardens and your mansions. The seine of my fishing pole is stretched. Countless millions of drujas and fetals will fall into my net. My voice hath gone forth in Chemgal and Lu and Abroth and Huatavi and Coots of Mass in the wide Etherian fields of Rodowski. 12. Haleb hath heard me, Borg, Home, Zai, and Luth of the Orion homestead, and Chor, whence emanate the central tones of music from goddesses older than the corporeal worlds. To them the crash of worlds is a note created, and is rich in stirring the memory with things long past. 13. I have spoken, and my breath is a floating world. My speech is written in the lines where travel countless millions of suns and stars, and in the midst of the ethereal firmament of the homes of gods. Let them shout to the ends of the universe. Invite them in my name to the high den of Malk-ben-Jau. 14. Around about in the place of the great serpent, and send swift messengers with the words of my decree. Bring the lords and gods of Wan and Anna and Anachron and Sith. 15. Call up Gad and Adoniah and Edisai and Onesi and the host of the upraised, for the pastime of Jehovah's sons and daughters in the high heavens draweth near. Chapter 3. O ye angels of Haddah of the red star, and thou, O God, and ye lords, upraised and mighty, with hosts countless, and quick answering the thoughts of mortals, hear the words of Aph, son of Jehovih. 2. When I was in the Orion ark of No, and the red star passed, the Utswalde ark, in the Etherian group of Vor, the voice of Jehovah came to me, saying, Go thou, my son, deliver the earth. Take with thee all whom I may send. 3. And I examined the records of the stars of heaven, and of the earth, and the accounts of Jehovah's harvest, and I perceived the bondage and labor of the red star were of the 7th magnitude in the advance of habitable worlds. 4. When his voice called the legions in high heaven, from every side, and below and above the earth, there moved myriads of shapely stars, which were ships of fire, coursing the firmament whereon rode the gods and goddesses called by Jehovah to the labor of earth and Haddah. 5. Closing in on every side they came, and nearer and more compact and brighter, with sparkling pillars of fire and down-swaying curtains of light, till all the space around about the earth was hedged in with this army of Jehovah's Etherian ships of fire. 6. Again I heard the Father's voice saying, O Aph, my son, my Holy One, hearken to the voice of Jehovah, creator of gods and goddesses. 7. Behold, I sent my son Neph to the red star with wisdom and power. Long hath he been gone, long struggling with the black darkness of men and angels. 8. As a valiant soldier rusheth in the heaviest part of battle, and forgetteth himself in desperate contest, but ceaseth not to struggle on against all odds, even so for 3,000 years hath my God Neph hoped to save the whole limbs of the earth, the continents. 9. From my holy place have I watched the battle for everlasting life. But the too prolific earth contributeth more to the corporeal than the spiritual man. And I bring my legions to the rescue of my valiant son Neph. Send thou to him, O Aph, my son. Proclaim to him and his lords and to his Etherians my just decrees. Aph said, 10. And I sent swift messengers down to Haddah, informing Neph, son of Jehovah, of the march and presence of gods, and of the decree of the Father. And I added thereunto, saying, O Neph, son of Jehovah, come hither, bringing thy host with thee. 11. Presently Neph answered me in Jehovah's name, saying, O Aph, son of Jehovah, I come. My prayers are answered. All praise to the All-Highest. 12. Then we saw, making ready in Haddah, preparatory to ascending, the ship of Neph and his faithful host. And that which was seen from my place was also seen by the myriads of Jehovah's vessels surrounding the earth. And my place became as a central throne to which the host now made speed, swift and orderly. 13. And in the time they came, also rose up the ship of Neph and Haddah. Meanwhile my ships rested on the borders of Chinvat, in the school of Hain, and from the moon 7 Agus. 14. Again the voice of Jehovah came to me, saying, My son, make fast thy ship, for thy place shall be the head of the army of my host, and let thy consorts extend in line from the place down to the earth, for this shall be the delivery of them who I shall cut off. 15. So I made fast, and my messengers hastened to the concentrating forces of heaven, informing the Etherian groups on Jehovah's ship of his commandments. And now came Neph, his ship rose up, filled with his long laboring host, and I greeted him and said unto him, By the power and wisdom of Jehovah, the continent of Wagga is to be cut loose and submerged, and her heavens carried away. Return thou to the earth, and bring all the spirits of darkness from all the divisions of earth and heaven to Wagah, that I may carry them away. Then Neph and his host viewed the imposing scene and returned back to the earth. 16. Quickly now the ships of fire formed in line, extending from my place down to Hada, where rested Neph and his lords of the earth, whose host extended to all the divisions of land and water, embracing the various heavenly kingdoms previously built by the lords. 17. And in the line of the Etherian ships were stationed the plateaus of rank, and the host of gods and goddesses took their places according to the rank of wisdom, power, and love manifested in the Etherian departments whence they came, with the 2 Orion chiefs at either extremity. 18. And I divided the line into sections, each with 250 ships, and there were 1,000 sections, and every ship was contracted 10,000-fold, which was the force required to break the crust of the earth and sink a continent. 19. Along the line I stationed sentinels and talismen and messengers without number, so that Jehovah's voice and his son's voice could traverse in a moment of time to every part. And after that I formed the tube of transit which extended in front of the ships, and from the earth to beyond Chinvat, and I filled it with the earth's atmosphere to the extreme. Whither it joined, Io sank, whither I determined to deliver the Jujahs and Fetals of such as were to perish in the ocean of the earth. 20. For every 10 sections I appointed 100 marshals and 1 god, and for every 10 gods 1 chief in Emuts, according to their rank in the heavens whence they came, so appointed I them. These then are the chief Emuts, to wit. 21. Agar, of the order of Achav, son of Jehovih and Bawich, from the corporeal star Godad, raised in Ben of Agi, 70, and 700,000 years, inhabitant of Gon. 22. Hogi, son of Jehovih, Marshwan of Hadam, and Ag, nebulae 4 and Petrath, swift messenger of Jun, of the corporeal star Alanx, of 1,200,000 years, inhabitant of Rothwalk in Joyce. 23. Pis Humitaivi, daughter of Jehovih, Jayayan Udzlan in Kai, goddess of Ain, goddess of Ad, governess of Walwal, of the corporeal star Turwig, and of the plains of Exwer and Gohin, in the Etherian ark of Labis, of 1,300,000 years. 24. Hayata, daughter of Jehovih, and nurse of Hubak, in 57, Agi, of the corporeal star Heats, a milkmaid, goddess of Luf, goddess of the plateau of Obanf, in Etheria, rank 90, and of 2 million years, inhabitant of Nud and Ix. 25. Gonleps, son of Jehovih, god of Ne, god of Aper, god of Dawn, god of Mu, god of Ro, physician of Bo, and of Ir, and of Janur, marshal of Cute, and Oblin of Sharar, in Etheria, of the Aegean field of Do, of 700,000 years, inhabitant of Onlof and Rictus. 26. Neo, god of Lun and Hintaya, god of Moors and of Thespion, master of Pe and savior of Wohagai, Agi plain 7, and risen from the corporeal star Set Etiyi, an inhabitant of Sidne, 1,700,000 years. 28. Listiatka, goddess of man, goddess of Hirze, goddess of Sam and Nai, weaver of Altbach and Agamus, rank 90, raised on the corporeal star Mem, inhabitant of Das Sawig in Gabriomedy, 2,900,000 years. 29. Tusika, goddess of Kol, goddess of Louts and Widawaget, goddess of Du-Ijai and Lu of Magadsa, goddess of Ep, goddess of Gek, of Heneshalankaya, goddess of Tur and the Jayayan swamp of Debokta, 55, raised on the corporeal sun Nitz, of the serpent Tan, inhabitant of Tayehit Sivi, 2 million years, inhabitant of Pala, 1,700,000 years. 30. Phaetisi, goddess of Labuk, goddess of Saranya, in Gaulolo, goddess of Iz, goddess of Serl, goddess of Lochlo, goddess of of Agi 75, goddess of Warts, and Dohuida, goddess of Krya, goddess of Bakhu, goddess of Teal and Rositz, goddess of Mutzmutz, goddess of La Eretz, of Wakhumhouts, goddess of Bil and Dusk Wangwessel, goddess of Orxa, goddess of Unskuk, goddess of Sulhuida, goddess of Shane, goddess of Isa, goddess of Ham, goddess of Rekawau and Shuidit, goddess of Dang and Gawak, goddess of Phyta Zamel, goddess of Zetiah Haub, of the gardens of Zetiah Boph in Agi 7, surgeon of Huala, surgeon of Bos, surgeon of Rapiah, surgeon of Lumzon, nurse of Paiga, of Semathias, nurse of Zid, nurse of Lucy, nurse of Home, nurse of Briathath, queen of Aupa, queen of Raga, disciplinarian of Ta, of Kaibi Samak, of Tutsmuts, of Berber, of Tenski, of Rivia, of Sun, of Hadab, of Busuhouts and Saris, raised on the star of Planza, swift messenger in Baal and Wawalauk, 500,000 years, swift messengers in Tawaka and Runfuat, 500,000 years, inhabitant of Tereshash, 1,000,000 years, inhabitant of the fields of Nijaye, 1,000,000 years, inhabitant of Gun, 500,000 years, maker of corporeal roadways, 500,000 years. 31. So Phaetisi outranked all other gods and goddesses, and was special guest of honor to Aph, chief over all the rest. 32. And the star of Phaetisi's Etherian ship was stationed near the earth, that she might the better behold the deliverance of the spirits that were to be freed by the submersion of the land of Waga. And of these spirits there were upward of 24,400 million, of whom more than 3,000 million were fetals and familiars and spirits in chaos. Chapter 4. Jehovih said, Aph, my son, put a wall of pillars of fire around about the land of Waga. Plant them near, as a hedge is planted. For the false gods and false goddesses of Hada, when perceiving their habitation going down into the water, will endeavor to escape to Jud and Vohu and other countries. 2. But thou shalt not suffer one to escape, for they have migrated to the divisions of the earth because of its sumptuous productions, the better to feast their evil desires. 3. And thou shalt spread a net around the borders of Waga, against the line of the ocean, and to the high north mountains, and the net shall encompass the continent of Waga, and it shall be to the height of 1,000 miles, and in breadth, so that no spirit of darkness can escape and find the way abroad. 4. And when thou hast spread the net, thou shalt send to the large kingdoms in Hada, and to the false kingdoms, a sufficient number of Etherians of great power, and thou shalt send down to the earth, to Waga, a sufficient number of Etherians, that every mortal man and mortal woman and every mortal child shall have 5 to attend. And they that go to mortals shall take with them the birth blankets of sufficiency. For in the time of destruction, when the mortals go down in death, thy servants shall receive the liberated spirits on the birth blankets, and bear them to the atmospherian column of ascent. And hither shall thy host receive them, and provide them with food and clothes, and after the manner of Essenes. 5. But it shall come to pass that many mothers shall perish in the waters, with children in the womb, which live by fetal, as is proper in my sight, for so created I them. 6. Therefore, to all such fetals give special care, for they are without a sin, and when the mother is dead, corporeally, and the fetal also, bring hence their spirits, but together, and provide a volunteer angel of fetal power, and deliver the infant spirit to her, to be nurtured until the proper time of weaning, and provide in the same place a home for the mother of the child, that she may inherit its love and mirth. 7. And when the voice ceased, Aph, son of Jehovih, looked about over the host as if in search of a sign that the time had come. But again Jehovih spake, saying, 8. In the misfortune of a fallen world, created I food for the warm love of my Etherian goddesses. Behold them hereabout in millions, every one in hope of receiving a prize of that which was lost in darkness, to raise up sons and daughters, who shall rejoice in everlasting paradise. Think not that I gave the talent of love only to a mother for her child, and there the talent to end. For as the talent in its incipient age bindeth her soul to her child, so doth the same talent in my goddesses overspread a helpless world. 9. Are they not as midwives and mothers to thousands and millions of souls being delivered from the corporeal bondage into everlasting light? And who can number them? Here standeth 100,000,000 come from Lagos, 100,000,000 from Enopta, 200,000,000 from Karduk, 100,000,000 from Bushk, 200,000,000 from Nin, 250,000,000 from Luthwig, 100,000,000 from Pied, 200,000,000 from Rag, 50,000,000 from Niavis, 200,000,000 from Dakdak, and 250,000,000 from Od. 10. I spake in the Etherian firmament, and they have answered me. Yea, they come not as curiosity seekers, and with empty arms, but behold them, arrayed with their thousands and millions of small equipments suited to the newborn. What thing is there under the sun they have not remembered to bring with them in some part, for regimen or drapery, to rejoice the souls of them that are to be cut off from torpor?